So in today's video, I'll be showing you guys how you can use Google's AI Edge Gallery, the place where you run models on your device, private, free, and locally. So right now you can see that I am in the App Store, and essentially all you'll need to do is just download this. There is no wait list. There is no specific things you need. You don't need a developer account. It is pretty simple and easy to download. So just download this. And once that's done, you can then just open this like I have here. So once you're able to open the app, and do remember that this is available on Android and iOS. And this is not like some waitlist thing. So you'll be pretty fine to be able to download this. Now, once you download this, it is a little bit confusing because you do see a lot of stuff, but let's actually walk through what each of these means. So currently with the Google AI Edge Gallery, essentially this is a place where you can discover new models from the Google family, download them on your device and actually run them locally like you would run a local LLM model on your desktop PC. And so with all of the different buttons that you have here, each one of these different buttons, essentially what they do is make the AI do something in a specific way. So for example, the ask image, this basically puts it into image mode. Audio scribe, that's going to put it into audio mode. And each one is different. Now, if you're a beginner here, the first thing you'll notice, we're just going to go from top to bottom, is this AI chat feature. So this is probably going to be the most common feature that most people use. If you click the AI chat feature, you can see that it essentially shows you which models are available. So now quickly before we do get into this, if your Android phone has 8 GB of RAM or more and was released in the last few years, you can probably run the Gemma 4 models. If it has 12 GB of RAM, you can probably handle the models too. But do note that older phones with 4 to 6 GB of RAM probably shouldn't expect to run Gemma 4 that well. So if you're wondering about if you can run this on iPhones too, if we're looking at iPhones, the iPhone 15 Pro and above, those will be able to run it pretty easily. Of course, as well, if you're running this on an iPad with an M series chip, especially this 8 to 16 GB RAM models, those will also work. The borderline where you don't really want to be, doing too much is the iPhone 13/14. With a standard 4 to 6 GB of RAM. Those are okay for the very, very tiny Gemma variants, which we'll get into, but those are not really great for bigger Gemma 4 models. So I'd recommend not anything older than an iPhone 12 or devices with 3 GB of RAM or less. It's best to have 8 GB of RAM or more. So one of the first things we're going to talk about is the AI chat. So when you step into the AI chat, this is essentially where you can see how you can talk to an on-device large language model. Now, what it essentially will do here is give you the ability to download multiple different variants of multiple different models. Now, the only problem is that as a beginner, when you come into this, you'll realize that these models don't specifically state what is different about them. And every single model is essentially different in multiple different ways. Now, it usually will have a best overall model there, and you can go ahead and just download that. So for me, I've already got this downloaded. But if I wanted to download a different model, I can just click the download button and you can see it's immediately going to start downloading. It doesn't really take that long. It's only a few gigabytes, but that is going to be how you download those models. Now you can download really as many as you like, as many as your device can handle, but it really is up to you on the model you want. I would say that the larger the model size is, the more reasoning abilities / capabilities that the model is going to have. And of course, the smaller the model is, you can see down here, you've got Gemma 3, 1 billion parameters. That is going to be a model that is going to be easily run on the older devices that we mentioned earlier. So please do understand that, the larger the size of the model, of course, it's going to reach into the territory where you do need a newer phone to run that. So once you've downloaded a model, you'll be able to essentially go into a chat. You can either click the try it button here, or you can just, if we go back here, you can just simply hit that arrow button, that blue arrow, and then you can go in. When you first enter a chat model, you're essentially going to have to wait for it to initialize the model. It's essentially just booting up everything. This should take around 10 to 15 seconds, and then you'll essentially be able to talk to the model. If you want to swap to a model, just hit the drop down, and then you'll be able to drop down to a different model rather than going back and forth. And then it will initialize the model, and then you'll be able to jump in. Now, essentially, this is just a chat interface. So you can say, hello, how are you? And usually it will just give you a response. But what I've done here is I've actually changed the settings so that if you hit the top right, okay, and if you go to the top right, you can see that I've actually enabled thinking. By default, it doesn't actually have this on. And thinking, of course, as you guys know, is going to just enable the model to think longer. And it's usually reserved for more of those tasks where you have a lot more multi-step reasoning that you need to do. So for example, if I say hello here, hello again, you can see it's just going to respond absolutely instantly. So you don't need thinking on if you're just doing some super basic tasks. But if you want to get more reasoning out of the model, you can enable thinking on. Now, of course, these are the settings here. And so temperature, for those of you who didn't know, this essentially controls how random the model is. The closer it is to the middle value is where it's going to be balanced, and this is going to be good for chat. Now, if you decide to move this up a bit, it's going to be a bit more random. It's going to be creative, and it's essentially going to talk a bit more nonsense. If you, get it a bit lower, it's going to be cold, safe, repetitive, deterministic. And, in the middle is kind of where you want that for, most of your tasks. So top K being 64 means only look at the top K best next words. So if K equals 50 here, the model is only going to choose from the, 50 most likely tokens, and it's going to ignore the rest, including very weird ones. And if you have a smaller K, it's safer, but it's a bit boring. And if you have a bigger K, it's essentially more variety. Now, top P is essentially how safe the choice is. Low, it's going to be, super safe and focused. The higher this is, it's going to be, more random. And so this default that we have here is pretty good. And I would say that most of these settings, you don't really need to change unless you're a developer. So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel that. I'm going to leave it by default. And by default, those are the values that it does have. Now, if you're wondering on whether you should switch this to the CPU or GPU, I would argue that the CPU is the brain of the phone. It does work. You can switch it, but this is pretty slow and it's going to use more battery. And the GPU is essentially faster for AI. So I would just stick to GPU because that option is always going to be better. So like I said, let's not mess around with those settings. And you can see, as once you update those configs, that's there. And I could say, what is the best business to start in 2026? And this is just basically where, 29, 26, I don't know why I managed to enter that area, but you can see right here that the model does work. And remember, guys, this is private. This is, of course, going to be all on device. And that means the data is not going up to anyone's servers. This is all just staying on my phone. Now, if you want to see your chat history, all the previous conversations you've had. Now, the only bad thing about this is that you don't actually have your history stored. So if you do want to have your chat history, it's not actually stored here. The only thing that they do store, which is a bit crazy, is your text input history. So you can see these are only the buttons that I've actually input. So if there's something that you input before, you can just input it again, or you can just go to your history, delete that, and it'll be done. So you don't have any actual chat history. Now, if we go back here, this is where things start to get a little bit more interesting. So let's say we've downloaded the models that we do want. Let's go to the other section, which is the agent skills. So right underneath AI chat is essentially agent skills. Now, for most people, you probably do know what this is. This is essentially where you can use a preset determined way to prompt with the model in order for it to do an instruction. So if I click try it here, you can essentially see that agent skills are basically a specific way for the model to reason. Once again, you do have these settings which you can change. But of course, like I said, I wouldn't mess with them. Of course, you can also view the system prompt here. But like I said, I wouldn't mess with that at all. Now, you can see right here that essentially what this is able to do is it's able to do things that you would specifically do beforehand. And of course, this might be different on Android and iPhone because each phone has different capabilities. Now, a lot of these ones here, if you just scroll through them, these ones are essentially pretty basic. And a lot of them essentially will have the ability to, use the vision capabilities because this model actually does have vision capabilities. So if you, put text spinner, it'll actually pop up with a camera and it'll actually be very interactive because this model is actually pretty good. It's able to interact in real time. But for example, this one right here, we can generate a QR code for anything. And you can see right here, it's generating a QR code for this. I'm going to say generate a QR code for my YouTube channel called the AI Grid. And then we're going to enter that there. You can see the model is on there. And you can see it says the QR code has been generated. So essentially all you're doing here when you're using these agent skills, these are just very basic skills that you can have. And the default ones are not really good. I would say that if you're someone that's working and you want to, use your existing like Claude skills, you can import them in. So if you go to skills and then you click to plus, you can essentially load a skill from a URL or import a local skill. Now, essentially, if you've used skills before, you'll know that it's really good for, prompting in a certain way. So the kind of skills that I have is that if I'm making a video script in a specific way, I can say, I want you to have a long form video script for specifically documentaries. So what I would do in that scenario is I would enable that skill. And then when I prompt it to say, okay, make me a video essay script, if I actually added that skill on, it would make that video script in that specific essay style. And that's exactly what it is. Now that is the super, super basic version of it. If you want to learn more about agentic skills, if you click create your own, then it will show you this GitHub page here where it has all of this information regarding the Google skills. And you can see that, at a high level, a skill is basically just something that contains essential metadata and step-by-step instructions. And then the LLM just reviews those instructions before responding. And so here's an example of a text-only skill file. So you can see right here, it says the fitness coach And if you want it to be like a, a workout, if you want to talk specific workouts, then it's going to talk in that specific way. And this is super useful, for specific things. I'm pretty sure if you've used Skills before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the other stuff is honestly pretty self-explanatory. When you go to image model, you can essentially just use the same model here. You can download these specific, ones that are, specific for image. So if we click try it here, what you can do is you can click the plus button, then you can add any image and you can ask it about it because the model is multimodal. So I'm going to ask it this picture of a shoe. I'm going to say, what do you see? And so the model is probably going to show me exactly what it sees. It says, I see yada, yada, yada. It says, I see everything. And yeah, you guys can see here that the, model on device isn't hallucinating as much because this is a really, really good model and it gives you all of the information. And this is of course super good. Maybe you are out and you have no internet and you just take a picture of something, which you can. If you click plus here, you'll be able to take a camera photo or just use your photo library and you'll be able to essentially ask the model on device what it sees. Now, of course, what you can do again is you can scroll down to audio scribe. So this is once again, remember it's a multimodal model. You can record an audio, you can pick a WAV file. Now, if we do the audio one is a little bit weird, but this is actually how you use it. So what you want to do is you essentially get one file and that is basically it. And then you have to restart the conversation and then you have to put that prompt immediately after. So let me show you guys exactly how you do it. So click plus, then you can either upload it or you can record an audio. So here, I'm going to record an audio and then I'm going to say, hey, Google Gemini, I actually ate 10 donuts today and I feel stuffed. Then I'm going to say what was said and then I'm going to enter that. And then you can see it says, hey, I'm sorry to hear you're feeling stuffed. It sounds like you had a lot of donuts. So you can see right here that it perfectly transcribed what I've said. But now I'm not actually, able to add another clip. I'm just able to say, ha ha ha, that's so funny. And I'm able to continue the conversation. Now, of course, if you want to put another piece of audio in, we actually do have to do, unfortunately, at the moment, I'm not sure if they're going to change this. Click plus and then you can reset that and then you'll be able to input something else and you'll be able to go again. If you just put the audio in, for some reason it doesn't work. So I'm going to show you, hey Gemini, what is going on? I think I had like 13 cookies today. I'm feeling stuffed. And then let's say you just put that in. It won't always transcribe it perfectly. So it's best to just add a little bit of text there. Now, of course, they might change it in the future, but that is just what is currently, there. So now we're going to go on to the second feature, which is mobile action. So if we download this is something that's experimental. So we're just going to download this and I'm going to show you guys what to do. So now this is downloaded, we're going to click allow here. And so essentially what this is able to do is control your device with many different commands. So here I'm going to just say, and you probably won't be able to see this, but I'm going to show you guys, hey Gemini, can you turn on my flashlight for me, please? And so I mean, I wish I could show you this, but my flashlight is actually on. If I scroll this down, you can see that, well, you can't actually see that the flashlight action is on, but the flashlight is actually now on. And this is pretty cool. So what I can say now is, hey, Gemini, can you turn off the flashlight? And so the flashlight has now been turned off. So this is something that is super, super simple because maybe you're going to be able to send text like this in the future. I think this is an early insight to what things are going to be like in the future. And this is something that, of course, is experimental. Don't expect this to work completely 100%. And yeah, that's what I would say for the mobile actions. The last thing here that you don't really need to care about is Tiny Garden, which is a game. And that's just a game that you can play. So I think, as well, another thing that I forgot to mention is Prompts Lab. So here, once again, it's kind of like agent skills, but this is just basically preset things where you can just input your text. So I would say if you're on the web or you're about, comes to the Prompt Lab to paste your text here, and then you're going to be able to, get a response. So here you can see it summarized text. It rewrites the tone into whatever you want. Casual, friendly, polite, enthusiastic. Maybe you want to send an email. You don't want to log into ChatGPT. You can see code snippet here, summarize your text. It's completely up to you, however you want to do this. And you can see it's got an example right here. You're able to essentially get the response and the performance and how, quick that is. So this is something that is, useful if you're going to be using this all the time. And so, yeah, this one is pretty simple. So I think this studio is pretty good for running devices on your local hardware, especially when you're just on the phone, on the move, on about, and you want to have something that is always there.